Hey everyone, hope you're doing well today. Thought I'd talk a little bit about The Matrix Awakens, which is basically an excuse to show off the new Unreal Engine 5, but also tie into the new Matrix movie. So, kind of a little marketing combo here, but I heard a lot about this in terms of how impressive it was, how this engine looked. So, just wanted to download it and discuss it a little bit. I'm on the Xbox Series X here, and there's also a PS5 version. So, first we see this kind of recreation of the scene from the original Matrix, and obviously Keanu Reeves is hanging out here. He looks really, really good, and the models here are pretty insane, to be quite frank. And we move along here, and it's just the faces and everything are just, I mean, you can tell there's a little bit of stiffness. The old Keanu Reeves face doesn't look that great to me, but Carrie Ann Moss and Keanu Reeves himself look really, really good. However, we do see that the other kind of NPC sort of characters don't look as good, and that's really always going to be the case with this sort of stuff, these tech demos. They're really only, these graphical engines are really only as good as developers will take advantage of them. So if they don't put the time into all the NPCs and stuff like that, or whatever console is currently on the market can't handle it all, then it's not quite as impressive as you at first think. There's a chase scene here which has Trinity and Neo. Neo doesn't look that great to me, honestly. He looks all right. Carrie Ann Moss, Trinity looks great. The cars and everything look great. The city looks great. But it's just interesting to me that one of the character models just looks pretty stiff and just not as convincing as the rest of it. I don't really know what to say about that. But what you're really looking at here is just the whole package. And this almost looks like a movie, other than the character models. So it's really, really impressive still. And you're kind of taking some of the lighting and stuff for granted because you're kind of tricked into thinking that you're watching something that's more realistic than a video game. But we'll get a little more into the chase scene here. You get to shoot your gun. It's pretty simple. You're just shooting the tires out from these cars that the agents are in and driving and jumping off of. And then eventually you get to use more of a heavy weapon, more of an automatic rifle. And then after that, there's a bazooka, you shoot a helicopter, and pretty much after that, everything calms down, and you get to just explore the city, which I'll show you right here. So what you can really do is basically just fly around the city and look at whatever you want, which is kind of funny to think about because games really never let you do that. There's never really like a free roaming mode. I suppose there is in some games. It's kind of an extra, but never really was too interested in it until this. So I think maybe the graphics are maybe getting to the point where it's finally worthwhile to screw around in like a free roaming camera mode. But as you can see here, this is a level of detail that we've not seen before, just straight up. If you pay attention really closely, you can see some pop in here and there. And the faster you go, you'll see later on, the faster you go, the frame rate suffers, which kind of puts a damper on things. So if you're playing a game like Spider-Man or something like that in this engine, as it stands now with what they've done here, it would run a little slow or choppy. But when you're just roaming around like this, it's pretty awe-inspiring, I admit. Again, it really just comes down to how much time will developers put into something like this. Because if you're playing a game like this, and it looks like this, but everyone that you talk to looks like an Xbox 360 character, it kind of dulls the experience. If the environments don't have as much detail as this does, it's going to dull the experience. So while it's impressive, and it definitely lowers the floor for what a game can look like, it doesn't raise the bar as high as you might think because the developers still have to put in the work and the resources to make it look this good every single time, and that's just never going to happen. But it's nice to know that the tools are there. So overall, I really think that The best way to describe this is what I said before. It raises the floor for what a game can look like. And obviously, you're not going to see the detail that I'm seeing. This is not a 4K video, so you might want to check it out for yourself if you have a Series X or a PS5. But I thought it was really impressive. I just think as far as the top end, what it's capable of, I think there's a little bit of ways to go. It doesn't look as impressive in full fast motion. Some of the details don't look as impressive in close-ups. And as far as the frame rate, I mean, it's a little choppy when you're going fast. So like I said, you're not going to get a Superman game in an engine like this if they can't get the frame rate to catch up. Even Spider-Man might be questionable, but everything else here is really good. If you're just walking around this city, it's really, really cool, right? Like I said, as long as the developers have put the time into it. So you just hope that more developers than not are able to take advantage of all this technology. And that's going to be the case every time they put out one of these engines or show off a game that looks really, really impressive graphically. The question is always going to be, are the developers going to put the time in to make the whole experience as impressive as this trailer or this demo? So overall, I'm really, really excited about the future in the Unreal Engine 5. I just hope that we see everything that it's capable of when we purchase a random game that uses it. So what did you guys think of this? I think it's a really cool demo. I mean, you can just screw around here forever. There's nothing to really interact with, but it's just really nice to see how it's processing everything, how fast it's going, how detailed it is especially. And I really, really liked my time with it. I just hope that they keep improving it and building it, which I'm sure they will. And if devs take advantage of it, the future is definitely bright for video games in general, especially ones that look realistic like this. So thanks for your time. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you like this video and what you think about this demo, and I'll see you next time.